right now in this moment. Take a moment to feel the love and the kindness with each other and for each other.
I view compassion as something that should be a part of who we are, woven into our being, that is evident in everyday life, not just when we see something difficult or when we interact and can empathize with someone. Those things kind of tend to go away, but I really love that idea that, compassion is something that sort of is within us and should be a sort of interwoven part of us.
My world revolves around me, and yours revolves around you. So how can many worlds work together as one? I believe the answer to this question is by compassion.
And that it's not just that we understand the other, but we are them. And in a blink, it could be us, but we are them and they are us. That distinction is a false distinction. So it's one of my very favorite words in Hebrew, rachamim. Compassion, womminess, right? This maternal caring.
How can we use our passions to alter the course of the world? How can we save lives? How can we change compassion to being a verb, not just a noun?
Compassion is an energy. Compassion is a force. Compassion is inspiring. Compassion is the response to I feel bad for you. And then I arise with, what am I going to do about it?
Rafael Cabrera walked into the room and I listened to him talk and explain what he had done. I was the first person to say, I'm not opposing parole. And it took probably 5 or so years before the parole board ended up agreeing with me. I saved every single letter that Rafael ever sent me. And you can see, they are not short little greetings. Here's one, page 16. And this correspondence went on for 5 to 7 years. I'm mindful that a convicted murderer and a judge on the Superior Court don't oftentimes share regular correspondence, let alone develop a highly prized friendship. Okay, that's unusual. I know that. Okay.
What he has been doing since he has been released from prison, working with the families for the incarcerated, working with the Catholic Archdiocese, speaking at schools to young people. I mean, Rafael has done an incredible amount that no parolee normally engages in. He is in a category by himself.
There are accounts on Instagram that promote self-harm, that promote suicide, and a lot of suicidal and self-harming teenagers follow these accounts. It's sort of a glorification thing. It's romanticized. And so our account can be found in the midst of all of these dark, dark accounts. And so a student looking for the depressing accounts may find ours, and it's hopeful. It inspires them. It encourages them to find a reason to stay alive rather than a reason to die.
My wife and I have been working with an orphanage in Zambia called New Day Orphanage since their inception in 2010. And we decided, you know what, we could do something here that not only our church could be involved in, but that our whole community could be involved in helping this orphanage. So we started the coffee shop called Kalundu Coffee, which literally it means mountain in Chitonga, Kalundu does, which is the language spoken at the orphanage. And all of our profits go to benefit the orphanage, and it's set up in a way that the money that goes to them they can use for whatever they need, and it's often aimed at compassion type of projects. So generally they have enough finances coming in to sponsor the children that are at the orphanage. But in all of the surrounding villages where there is a continuous need for compassion, sometimes if they have a drought year, there's very much a danger of starvation in the area. And so they'll provide food. They've set up a maize, a corn grinding mill that everyone from the area can come and use together. They're drilling wells on other people's properties that are community wells. So things like that, that money that we send from here ends up going to work on these sort of compassion type of projects, not just inside of New Day Orphanage, but in all the local areas surrounding.
And I have 2 daughters, but my daughters grow up and they don't need me the way they needed me before. And I have that compassion to give. But they don't want to give me hugs anymore. My yucks, they're not funny anymore for them. They're like, oh, Mom, that's not funny. So I started to feel sad. Even I was working, I was a housekeeper before. So I was working for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. I started feeling empty. Like I have something in me inside, I have to take it out and give to somebody, like can appreciate it, or they can do something, or put in a little seed in somebody. So a friend told me about this program, and she told me who was the director was Luisa Duarte. So I called Luisa Duarte and I said, I want to be a peer mentor. Can I still be? And she said, yes. Was the best time of my life.
One young man, his parents are pediatricians, and he, as a young child, loved helicopters, and was so excited to see hospital helicopters go by, but then realized what that meant. And so he created a project where a bear or a stuffed animal with a recording device in it is given to a child before they go on a hospital transport helicopter, that their parents can record a message on to give them comfort while they're on that helicopter ride. And raised money by himself to fund that project through the hospital.
Saved my life and was gone. I had a different idea of compassion. I was thinking it more like the word empathy. Now that I can look at it a little differently after being here for this weekend with reducing the suffering of yourself and others is my new take on the word compassion. So I'm going to be thinking as I leave the festival, how can that impact my life and what can I do to bring more compassion every day into the everyday things that I do all the time with a new eyes sort of on the word compassion.